Hello, everyone. Good morning. Thanksgiving post Sunday, right? So all the guests left yesterday, and we have more time last night. And this morning, woke up, did a lot of good stuff with exercise and all that. Then one of the things that came to me was many of my uh, friends or people who are calling. Um, it's apparent that they are insecure, not money wise, not education wise, not what they could do in their life, but then with psychological insecurity. They invariably depend upon either the spouse or their kids or their teachers or whatever, right? It's about not having that confidence, not having that security, not feeling good, and then they kind of always subject themselves to the insecurity. I've seen that in India as I was growing up. People flock to this so-called gurus, right? And then some of them are good, but very few you can count on the fingers. But many of them were kind of taking advantage of their esteemed position given to them by exploiting the people who are coming to them, right? That's what we saw lots of times. Okay, so that is there. Um, then when I first came to United States, then I kind of listened to J. Krishnamurti lectures for the first time. He was always saying, "Why are you like children? Why have to be led psychologically? Why it is that we give our all to somebody else and be the victim later on?" And he was questioning like all the religious books that people read in India. When I was growing up, I saw a lot. And either if you are a Hindu, you kind of read the ancient Puranas and Vedas, Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, and all that. When you really you're a Muslim, the Quran, and Christians, the Bible, right? So he was asking why you are depending on that instead of your own perception driven, intelligence driven guidance that you could see. As you're an integrated man, you are enlightened in the sense you are awake and alert and intelligent. What happens to the intelligence? Why are you really succumbing to somebody else's influence? So that was really not saying that we get to be egotistically decline everybody, but if somebody says, "Do you think intelligently, or do you follow blindly because they have a label, like a teacher, like a guru, like a priest, or whatever, or do you really question that, doubt that?" And not in a insulting way, but more like, let me look at this and then think about it, and then don't follow right away, right? That kind of thing. Let me put on a light here. The people. Okay, I'm back. So they were really thinking about what's real intelligence within us. We have a vast intelligence within us we are carrying. Krishnamurti pointed that out, and he said, "Don't be on this. Don't be on this uh, dependence, thinking other authority or people who wrote everything. Maybe he said something like this: You are really." Um, listening to somebody's truth that was conveyed in the text and all that, and they are then kind of misinterpreted or their own interpretation according to their conditioning, right? So you cannot really say, uh, okay, I'm going to accept them because that is the truth that is written down there. But the original person may have experienced the uh, the truth by themselves in anything, right? But for us to just accept it tacitly because we're uncertain inside, we are kind of looking for some guidance. We're looking for some kind of uh, assertion that they make that will give us uh, like some comfort, some solace. So I think people are like that too. So, welcome, friends. See, we're going to really begin the day with a gentle reminder that we are carrying a vast intelligence within us, one that no school taught us to recognize. That's for sure for me. Okay, so it's more like it is written in Shastra, it's written in those books, it is told by the this guru or whatever, and you got to follow that. Okay, but it's not like they are following it and we see it in their life, and that's why we were to do it. No, no, just because they said so. Okay, so see, in the modern lives, we know how to fix the world outside, any number of things, but we forget to understand the world inside. We chase answers in books, in gurus, in devices, and experts, even my talks. Okay, but when I really brought to this fact that you can be lifting your inner self by yourself, that is the one I paused for a moment and said, yeah, I can feel my breath. I can let the mind settle the dust in still waters, right? I can calm it down. And I can notice something beautiful, a quiet clarity behind the noise. There is a clarity behind the noise, a presence older than my thoughts, right? And a natural completeness that needs no permission. You are complete. So this is the inner intelligence, not based on data, not based on past experience, but by perceiving what is in front of us, right? And what is in us. This they call the existent consciousness bliss, being, awareness, and bliss. That inner being, which is consciousness, which is itself bliss. Okay? When this is awakened and or we kind of realize that, see it for what it is right there, then that insecurity goes away because that's enormously powerful. That means you are not going to be influenced by any utterances by anybody. It's more like you're going to look at these things completely with a new perspective, not influenced by anybody or any writing or any saying or anything like that. Now, human beings are so intelligent about understanding the world, going into the space and doing a lot of stuff with medical things and all that, right? Why we are not able to do that? See? So once you have we stand rooted in that intelligence, unafraid, and we are content just with that, okay? Then you operate not from the fear or confusion, but from the intuition and the abundance you feel inside. Excuse me. So, for sure, I do feel that abundance. At least I try to come from there, right? So, that kind of, you see, as you go through the entire day, I want to remember this. I already carry the guidance I'm seeking, and I'm going to stand in my own light, you know, and I will walk with the awareness of that and let my inner intelligence be my North Star. Okay? You have a beautiful and awareness filled, abundant day each day. So that's kind of assertion, affirmation that helps a lot. In the beginning, I didn't understand when some of the great people said, "You got to, you got to really awaken yourself by yourself each day." You know, because all our conditioning comes through very quickly. So that's why I said, okay, why don't we really understand that, stay there, and then look at it. Think about it. Many people are really psychologically insecure because they feel like I have to learn from other people. I have to listen to people and then get the lesson from them. You know, I would say look at their life, less than the words only. Look at how they're handling their own affairs. That kind of thing really helps us. Okay, so this is a very important thing, and Jiddu Krishnamurti kind of shook me to the foundations when I first was really listening to what he was trying to convey. He said, first of all, be in the present. Second of all, be perception oriented, not the data oriented in psychological matters. And ask yourself, are you being psychologically dependent? If you're a child, yeah, you do. And then you want the parents, teachers, and the school kind of help you to go along and tell you what is what, you know. But once you are mature, if you are mature, most of the adults are not. That is the problem. That's why they become so insecure inside, and the outward things only give them temporary comfort, and then they will, or they want to go and touch that kind of stability, that kind of uh, being in the moment, and then really bringing your intuitive intelligence to operate on the existing outer or inner matters. You have split from your wife, you are divorced, or you are really dependent on your boyfriend or girlfriend emotionally, and you act like a child because you cannot be comfortable by yourself, not confident, not clear, not having that assertive strength, not arrogance, not egoistic arrogance, not like foolishly saying, "Oh, I know how to do it." No, it born out of deep contemplation and really understanding what is what, understanding, and going through transformation from within. Right? So that's where it goes. Okay. So this is a very important subject, and as I was exploring it, I was initially kind of shocked at the enormity of it, because it kind of, this kind of awareness really dismisses all the Western knowledge, all the books, all the self-help books, and everything. It looks at you, demands at you, what is happening now within you and outside you. Have you put any consideration for that, or thought about that, or you are just lazily, blindly, like a child, accepting and moving along? You understand? So, when Krishnamurti said, why are you acting like children? Why are you following all these teachers that are telling you all sorts of things, all fantastic? And then we hear right after that they took so much money in donations in the churches, where they are doing this very ordinary, sensory pleasures or accumulation of so much of wealth. All those things really do not matter for a spiritually liberated human being. Okay, see, that's the problem with America, right? They want both spiritual but also use the spiritual capacities to make good with the material. It doesn't happen. You could try it, you can find out yourself. But it's kind of developing the detachment from the worldly affairs really gives you that inner explosive inquiry, which really helps you to show you as they are, either how you are emotionally, how you are in your own understanding, how you are in a state of affairs. Are you loving? Are you compassionate? Are you helpful? Are you friendly? Do you desire things, or are you in that desirelessness where you see the things that are happening outside? Really, they will come and go. And even inside also, instead of you being loving, you may be begging for love. You see, when you are really loving, it nurtures you, it nurtures other too. But you don't start doing that. You just take off what is non-loving, and then suppose you are egotistical, suppose you're self-centered, suppose you are only trying to exploit people's relationship, and then whatever you do has a transaction for you, then what happens, right? So this is very big deal. I'm not saying, I'm not trivializing it, but let it simmer in your deepest corner of your minds. Look, why do I have to come to all these rooms and then learn a little bit about everything? And then I have been telling this in this no by quite often. It's not about learning together. That's a technology. That is something that you want to improve your outward life. You want to improve everything, right? That is there. Okay? So think about it. Then it will happen. Okay? But if you allow or kind of uh, delegate to something outside of you, then you are missing the abundance within you. Don't believe me. That's a point. I say something that there is inner abundance. Who knows? I kind of feel that I have that. And I don't look for any psychological help in that sense. I never been to a therapist, even the toughest situations, right? And I kind of wanted my own intelligence guide me, not in an arrogant way, but you can see that, right? Think about it, doubt it, find out, go deeper. That is the thing people don't have. They want everything like instant gratification. Like somebody do the hard work, give me the fruits, then I will go and do it. So you want this dopamine shots, like likes, like I see even the people who say, "Oh, I was in that, I can feel it," but there will be always popping up the ego of others. Oh, you are this, you are that coach, you are thinking like this and all that. Now the question is, when somebody's boosting your ego like that, are there people who are comfortable in that and say, "Oh yeah, come and like me, give me comments that you love me, you worship me, you adore me"? That is what is driving a lot of people on the ego-based satisfaction, which is going to be like a balloon. And somebody else like me comes and say, "You are not your ego. You are having the ego for practical purposes. But don't build yourself like you are bigger than other people or you are greater than other people." That doesn't make sense to me at all. Okay. Then I say that, then I'm going to put a needle into your bubble of inflated ego. Then you come down. So this mistake of ego versus intelligence is the problem for the modern man, to be so psychologically insecure. On the top of it, you have so many crutches: alcohol, drugs, and smoking. They're apparent crutches. Their non-apparent crutches are emotional dependence and wanting to be uplifted in your ego, and wanting to be validated, all that. That is the reason why people are having so much more uh, problem with their inner, insecurity, and then always hoping hoping somebody will like my talk, somebody will come and appreciate my depth of knowledge, somebody will come and say, "Oh, you are wonderful," and immediately, "Oh, you are my coach," or "You are my guard or director," whatever. Right? Wise, intelligent person will not let the ego boost up or look for the dopamine rise, look for the some kind of validation, some kind of approval. He doesn't look for it because he's already within himself that transcended the ego by understanding and uses the ego for practical things. Like I have to go somewhere, I have to use my ego to find me the way and everything. That's fine. But why do I have to build up an image of I'm so great and all that? That's the danger. Make sense? I don't see anybody's movement. I hope you are listening to me. I'm audible to you. And it may be a very big deal for some people to realize that they are not their ego because they're stamped. And so, really, I don't really see many people with that understanding and proper use of the image of ours, our shadow of ours, which is our ego, to direct us through the life, but not to build up our psychological image. That is where the problem is. That's where the insecurity is. Because 10 people on this app can say to you, "Oh, you're such a great, you are lucky," and all that. But that's all friendship, that's all camaraderie. Don't allow that to build up your false ego. And then it goes up, then somebody comes and puts a needle in it. Can you just reverse the direction instead of looking outward from book, from friend, from a talk, from whatever? I really mean it. To turning the mind inward into your inner life. What are you? What are you striving for? What are you really needing it? So, do you have capacity to be quiet, stable, and be happy by yourself? Can you be yourself? Not your egoic personality, not your persona, but your presence that you can feel intuitively by keeping the mind rested. That self inquiry, self knowing, turning inward, that's what the ancients showed me. For that, they said, live simply outward. Don't waste your human life just to get comfortable, eat something, or develop health problems, and also not really be in touch with nature. And all those modern things that you think we are good life, maybe not a good life, rather taking us down. So be simple. You need food, you need shelter, you need clothes, you need to go and do work and contribute to the society. You can be friendly with everybody, don't discriminate against anybody. Those are simple things that you can do outward. But the essential practice is knowing your inner self, not your ego, but your being. Can you be just that without building up all this? This is what the problem with people who are stuck in the that layer of manomaya kosha. You remember I was talking about we have a physical body that is the annamaya kosha, and we have an energy body. We have energy going all around. How it is produced is by breathing, cellular mechanism, and all that. That we know. But how is this circulated? How is this maintained? How is this depleted? That's our problem as modern people, right? And that body, you want to clear it and you have to keep it. There are some ways that people have done for centuries, and they can help you to put this one. Okay. And then there is the thoughts and feelings and all that. Okay. That is manomaya kosha. All the thoughts, all the feelings, all the inner things that we have from our nervous system. First of all, why is the nervous system so friable in modern man? Why do we get hesitant? Why do we get depressed? Why do we get unhappy so easily? Even the small things, like a child is much better. So it is how you handle your own manomaya kosha. Unfortunately, I see all the people I talk to, all the people I do, so I love them as human beings. They're me and I'm them. But they're stuck in that manomaya kosha. Only the spiritually liberated people, they are, but the rest of the doctors, friends, or anybody I see, they are stuck in that. They do have that Vijnanamaya Kosha, the next layer, which is understanding of the world, but understand according to what they want to see. That is there too. So that's also happens. But then there is the last layer when you are not stuck in your Manamaya Kosha, you are kind of look at the relationship with the world, relationship with the nature, relationship with the other human being, relationship within yourself. All that is much better if you have the understanding of the world in a correct way by your own perceptions, not according to somebody else's opinion. You may have that kind of thing for the science and technology, which tries to make our external living better. But what about the inner living? That's where the psychological system that we have created failed us. That's where mental illnesses are getting much worse, especially cognitive and behavior. So if you have a genetic deformity, you have a elemental deformity, you have a foster diet, you can develop some organic mental illness. That you cannot really, deny that is there. But this, feeling, thought-related mental illnesses, there are a lot. That's all because of not knowing our intelligent self and subjecting ourselves to all sorts of suffering, psychological suffering, arising from psychological insecurity. If you really realize your abundance within and you got that nailed down, because you are, first of all, do you sit down and look inside? Or do you just go on thinking, feeling, reacting, and all that? Do you have times where you can sit down with yourself and see what you are? Are you jealous? Are you unfriendly? Are you don't care about other people and other things? Do you have any perception of the suffering, the degree of suffering that is going on each human life, despite our technological and scientific excellence? Why? This is a fundamental problem. We are not separate mind, separate psychology like the modern science make you believe. That's a Newtonian based, only action, reaction, all. But that's not it. The quantum mechanics and the modern physics sees that we are energy bodies, and that's emotional energy, intellectual energy, feeling about yourself, all the self knowledge, is kind of not really there in a clarified way. Okay, no clarity, only confusion, no real contentment, only dissatisfaction about ourselves, our things, our everything. So psychological security is kind of can be looked at, can be really we can help ourselves. Okay, that's not there, then it's very difficult. Okay, hopefully I touched something that you want. You don't have to agree with me. But what I'm questioning is you also question yourself and go inward rather than outward, but not being obsessive compulsive in your own mind. Like I said, it's not an accusation, it's my observation. But most of the people I talk to, not a single one is out of that manomaya kosha. They may have intimations of it once in a while, but they are not, when I talk to them, they come from their own uh, understanding through their mind. They cannot be perceiving human beings in the present moment with their own intelligence. Because I can feel it, I can see that, uh, it's up to them. Okay. Uh, I'm not judging them. I'm kind of only seeing what I'm seeing. I'm telling you, but don't have to be that. That's my point. You can be the body of unalloyed happiness. You're satisfied with yourself. That is what they called about Atmane Atmana. That is the ancients strived for and stayed there, and then they were really not for the other things. They didn't care about it because they developed a kind of what we call uh, dispassion, detachment for these things. Whereas we have attachment to all these things, then the spiritual inquiry, spiritual quietness, everything also looking for something that will improve your external life, your desires, your pleasures, your health. Okay, that is the tragedy. Instead of developing detachment for these things and being desirelessness, we get more trapped into it, more sucked into it, like a quicksand, right? So, but that is human condition. You don't have to say some are good, some are bad. No, it's a question of are you being blissfully happy in this world with all its problems, with all its limitations, or not? Okay, tell me anything of this makes sense to you, or am I just going about accusing everything? No, I'm not accusing. I'm pointing out human beings have this capacity to turn inward and touch intuitively their own inner being, or and just be that instead of having this chattering mind going all over. I always feel blessed that way. Okay, so one's attention has always to be poised on one's inner self. I may quote somebody, but the question is, am I just quoting? That is for me. My question should be, am I just quoting somebody, or it could be Ramana Maharshi, it could be everything, but am I really experiencing in my own life? Right? That's a question for me. That's the thing that I have to answer sincerely if I really think that's important. But if I want to convince, oh, I'm good, I don't have to do other, I'm thinking good and all that, then you will never be able to touch that inner being which is silent, that essential, you know, nature of ours, which is the awareness. And from there, our thoughts come, our feelings come, our reactions come, and all. But if you are not aware of them, where are you? So it's a personal question for me when that it's not about telling other people. It's about questioning my own inner state. Is it all jumbled? Is it striving for something that I may not find it very useful? Right? So that kind of thing. Okay. So it's a question for me, not for anybody else. Then I can sit down and switch off the world and look at what is happening. Hi, Robin.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I know we need to focus on ourselves, and that's what I've tried to do, but it is hard as a parent not to um, push some of those things onto a child, even an adult child. So find things that I read and that I might see a quote or something that really hits me and works for me, but then I think, wow, that would really work for my daughter. So then I send it to her or I tell her, but it's like she doesn't receive it because it may or may not be meant for her, but I'm still feeling that need to say, hey, this is how I'm finding myself. Here's a way for you.
That is the mental layer I was talking about. Let me tell you, I'm a parent of two kids, right? So very early I learned kids don't listen to us, but they are watching us.
Yeah.
So, right, that's what I learned. Okay, if I am telling something to them, I better do that. So I
Right.
found that very soon I don't have to tell them anything. I just have to live myself in the way that will be. Suppose they are going a completely wrong way, like they are sitting in the room and they're going on the some kind of internet and they're getting in touch with all sorts of people who are trying to influence them. That is something
Mm.
I have to provide protection and tell them what is what. Like you are going into the road, car comes and hits you. I'm going to help them. First of all, I'm going to drive safely, and also I'm going to show them what are the problems I can make myself by getting absorbed in watching TV or something in the car. So are we doing it for ourselves? Is the first thing, Robin, I'm talking about. And once we are inside like that, that perfume will come out.
Yeah.
So we don't need all these religions, all these faiths, everything just to be a good human being, kind, considerate, compassionate human being. I have questioned myself. I'm not going to question you because I have no right and no business also. But what I can do is, me being like that, Robin, you would sense that fragrance. I don't have to do anything, just to live like that. Like when I come here, I say, I'm sharing. I don't allow anybody to say, "Oh, you are my teacher." I said, I'm not your teacher. We are exploring together as human beings. So why do I have to carry that mantle and also people lower themselves down whereas other people, it's not. In this spiritual inner matter, we are all the same. Right? When I said we are stuck in the Manomaya Kosha, I was at one time, but I got the clarity, and then I saw very clearly whether it is morely my own assertion, my own saying, oh, this is the way it is, or I will welcome them to go and inquire themselves.
Hmm. I see.
See, that's what Krishnamurti had done. He said he rejected psychological, political, philosophical, every system. And he wanted to find out for himself. And he said, that truth is a pathless land. We don't have to have a religious path, philosophical path. You can just feel it. Somebody is coming at us with violence. That violence is real. It could be psychological, it could be physical, right? But then, how do I act depends upon my intelligence, right? So it's a question of taking personal responsibility and going within our mind and just calming ourselves down and looking at our being, human being. We are capable of friendship, we are capable of consideration, we're capable of compassion, right? But suppose I have a feeling like I'm a bigger culture, this is a lower culture, which happens all over the world. Then you are not seeing the truth as it is. Because for me, all human patients are the same wherever they come from. Maybe slight deviation because of the genetics. But otherwise, we have all the same organs, same biochemistry, same thing going on. Internally, psychologically also, we are all the same. That is the biggest difference. We think we are individually made. No. Fear, joy, whatever we feel, we are all in the same, right? I'm not trying to convince anything. This is how I came to the clarity we are all the same inside also. And then it is much easier to handle other people's problems or, whatever they feel. Just think about it and then say, okay, my children, I need to give them lessons about civility, about civic sense, about responsibility as a citizen, because I want to everybody to be equal. So I'm not going to play any political games to deceive certain segment of population and then really do injustice. Look what's happening. All this inequality in the money, only 4 or 5 people controlling 90% of our wealth, and rest of them struggling through 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and also still it's not enough. The inflation going up. So why the people who have a lot of money don't have the equanimous sense and make sure it's much easier for people to buy their houses or stay in a house, give education to the kids, and then do the research for our common good. That is missing. That's why so much of inequality going on. This is psychological problems, right? Why do they have to have this need for more and more and more money when so many people are not even have food now? When I first came into this country, 81, um, I never saw anything like a lack of food that much as it was there, but not that much. But now, people who worked over 20, 30 years also have to go to the pantry. So we are getting better technologically, scientifically, getting a lot of things outside, but inwardly, we are becoming more confused, more anxious, agitated, fearful, worried about our future of the earth, future of our, you know, our own thing, right? That's happening. But the kids can learn when we clean up our own heart and mind from inside. Just staying with it and looking what's going on. Am I having certain prejudices that I'm bringing out? Am I having certain attitudes of mine, like I want to be lazy, I want to get everything cheaper, easy? Those kind of tendencies. Those are egoic tendencies, we call it. And then once you see that, then once you see that you are not an ego and you are that wise intelligence, then it will come out. At least that's my experience. You got to find out by yourself. This is why these spiritual matters is not something somebody should say and then you follow. See, even in the app also, they all want to agree with the things coming from their mind. For me, mind is also a superficial aspect of ours. Thoughts are happening to me, so they are separate. Thought made mind is also happening, but it's not really me. So I can be objective about it, but you want to develop some tendencies in the mind, some habits, some kind of behavior patterns, and you want to build it up as your own personality and as your own ego, and you say, I'm individualistic. You are not individualistic when you are identifying with the thoughts and mind that is outside of your real self. That's why you want validation, you want praise, you want to say, oh, this one, that. You see, what is the relationship you think? Oh, by making them feel better about themselves, they feel like they are liked, so they can go on with that. So, like as kids, right? Kids, we have to teach them about their health and wellness, about the health and wellness of the society, schools, about learning skills so that you can provide services, you can earn a livelihood, and also you can relate better with people. These are the things we want to teach the kids, right? Be well, not only in your physical body and mind and all that, but also in your relationship with the world, in your understanding of the world, and what worked, what did not work. See, ancients already saw that people are fragmenting themselves like I'm a different body, I'm a different mind, and different conscious being and all that. But we're all one tribe in one energy and in one. If you have that oneness sensed and live like that, we are all one, all the human beings on this earth. Then we have lot less wars, a lot of this outsmarting and better allocation of resources, and we'll be much better off, right? That sense of oneness, the sense of separation is the ego and all that is not good for us. That understanding we can give them by living it by ourselves. I teach my kids to be nice to people. I teach them. My son came and asked me around 11 years old. There are so many girls that are there, they like me and they come and tell, how do I relate to them? Then I told him, if you can give affection to any other human being without expecting anything in return, that is being loving. Do that, don't take advantage of it because you are giving. You don't want to take anything from them exploit. And teach them natural urges, natural way of relating. But at the same time, always remember first to do no harm. Then you can teach the kids what is needed for the practical, but you can also teach them how to be psychologically resilient. That's what I'm talking about. Psychological insecurity is something that's not paid attention to as much as the ancients did. That's why modern time, it's not only is there, but also it's kind of really increasing. More and more people are addicted to things. More and more people are lonely. More and more people are committing suicide. More and more people are engaging the destruction of our planet because they are consuming things only, and then they don't have any control over that. Okay, think about that. Don't accept, don't consider whatever I'm saying is the truth. In the sense, you got to validate it for yourself by going into it and investigating it. How come the kids are really out of control or out of going with the values that we live in our life? Because there's so much talks, so much Instagram, so much TikTok, so much immediately instant gratification. And then they are getting influenced when they're really forming their everything from childhood. So it's a concern all the parents have. How do I teach my kids what is valuable, what is really important in life? We live it, and that fragrance will come to them. And then they have more chance of doing that. Even if they go into middle age, then they will come back to that. Whereas if we are really living vicariously, then they would not. My kids put me in order several times. If I say something, oh, I saw you seeing a violent movie, some action movie I was seeing, I'm looking for the action, and then they immediately I stopped doing that. They put me correctly. When I told them to don't do this, that's it. So you cannot really do this all the time, but you will be continuously learning about yourself and then correcting it automatically. I hope that made sense, Robin. Thanks for bringing up a very nice question, very practical. That's what is happening with us, right? And now we send the kids to the therapist. We can send the kids to the somebody who we don't know. That therapist has to be congruent within himself. That he has no tendency of going and doing the same things that he's telling us not to do. That's very rare. That's why analysis of psychological thing has become paralysis. It's not something to be analyzed. It is something to be felt and then see it with clarity. And then it will go its own, complete. Unless you develop some physical dependency, chemical dependency, and all that, majority of them, calm down, slow down. Look at the instrument which you are using, which is your senses and your intellect. In this app, I told so many times, it's not about other people saying, it's about you going inward and then finding out for yourself, self-inquiry. Oh, no, we are going to learn together. We're going to do things together. We're going to grow together. I think that's a myth. It's not a crime to do that, but you're wasting your energy and time and everything by not going in the direction you're supposed to go, but always looking outward somebody else to provide all these answers. That is where the insecurity comes in. That is where it is bred also. Hopefully, I made clarity for you. Okay. Anybody else want to are interested in this topic, or do you agree? Don't agree? So you can come up and tell me. I'm not criticizing. I'm just pointing out the perspective of the ancients, how they were neurologically stable, how they were very affectionate, concerned people, right? Munch on that, think on that, and send me questions or comments, or how do you uh, think about this? This is pretty important for our society because what we see is we are getting divided day by day by identification with particular country, particular race, particular gender, particular age group, particular skills. So many ways we divide from being that one human tribe, right? That's what's happening to people, and that people are really having that power. And we are living the consequences of not being together and not really taking advantage of our collective ness and the strength that flows from it. Suppose you are lonely, I talk about oneness. That's not something I invented. It is there. There is only one human tribe on earth, right? And the only one earth. But we kind of divide them into so many ways, right? So we kind of manufacture division and then identify with that separateness, and then we feel like we are separate. So if you can sense that oneness and live like I feel that with all you guys. It is there. It's not something I'm creating. It's my mind thinks I'm separate. And we allow the separateness grow in everybody. We have boundaries, they say. We have things we have to protect. Me first, mine first. Or identify with this particular religion. I identify with this country. I identify with this race, whatever. But beyond all that, we are all only one race. So we may have practical use of certain things. That's okay. But don't get separated or separateness as your quality. You want to come up and talk about this deeper subject, that's important. No, you want to talk about the same things that you are doing daily in a confused way, in a separate way, and with your own limited understanding, limited confusion, whatever. And then you want to relate to other people and say, oh, I resonate with them because he kind of fits into my viewpoint of the what I see around me. What is around me is a vast oneness. And that is very empowering when you look at that. Then how can I be lonely when I'm all related to everybody else? I can be alone. I want to be alone from all these nonsensical activities going on. And so I withdraw. Ancient wisdom talks about this tortoise goes on walking on the beach. Suddenly something comes and attacks it, and it withdraws all his limbs into the shell. Like that, if you have something coming at you, if you could really understand what is that withdrawal, how can it be, you are much better off. Okay? But you never do that. You indulge in all that. You are reactive. You are kind of fighting, or you're kind of developing this anger, all those things. So if you really take the human condition, how it can be inside, what is the real advantage of being a human being is having this intelligence within us. But we never awaken that. We only go by the patterns that you see and learn, and really don't question those patterns and go beyond them. That is what I'm saying. Don't go by same minds talking about the same thing. You are not going to go anywhere. You are stuck like a spider spits out its net, spider net, right? Then it gets caught in that net. Most of the people, human condition is that get stuck with their own thing, right? So think about it. It's not like a negative thing. It's like a positive thing that you can identify. You can do it for yourself. That's what I'm saying. Don't have to be victim of anybody. Don't trust even what I'm saying. So just go and examine it. Don't come and stay on the pedestal like I am the one who knows. I am the coach who can direct you. I am the one who can give you all the empowerment. I think that may be a wrong way. Those people can say what they want to say, but you got to take responsibility. You got to go inward and study yourself, self knowledge. How am I to the reactions that I have against events that happen? How am I nurture them? How I create these auto networks that come back, and then even though I'm not thinking about them now, they kind of come through as though it's coming through me. Understand human mechanism, understand human being, understand what it is to be the being. If you just be that and use the body and mind, you have a very blissful life. Things may be difficult outwardly, but you will face them as they are. Okay, think about it. And as I said, it's not something I'm sitting on the top of the wisdom tree telling you. No, it's my experience. My thing is, many people are unhappy for so many things, and then they get real problems with that. Okay, that kind of. So last chance. Anybody wants to come up, or you just want to be in the same stage and then go on? That's fine too. I cannot do anything about it. I can only clear my heart, my mind, and then let that come out. Okay, and then encourage other people also that you are a human being of immense intelligence, and you can awaken that, and that will come to your aid in all life situations. Okay, thank you.